Welcome, everybody, to Oceanside, Near and Afar, our poetry program started during lockdown, which features one local poet and one poet from afar. And we're delighted to have two wonderful poets here with us today, our good friend Ann Cohen and Ellen Austin Lee. And based upon the flip of the coin, Ellen has chosen to go first. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ellen Austin Lee.
Hi, everybody. And thanks for having me. I can't even remember who told me about this series, but I thought, well, this sounds pretty cool. I'm going to check it out. So I happen to be in the same state as you right now. I'm in Syracuse at my mother's house. So hopefully there's not a lot of background noise here. I hope. Please let me know if something gets in the way. But I'm just going to go ahead and launch right in. I'm going to read from, oh, I blurred my screen. You can't see my beautiful cover then. I'll put a link in the chat when I'm finished, so you can like click on it and see. But my first full length came out with Madville Publishing in late May of 2025. So I'm going to read from that book, and I hope you enjoy. So I'm going to start with the first poem, and it's one of my earliest memories. It's called Pika. Baby girl in the bushes, I scooped handfuls of dirt, the minerals the body craved at my fingertips, taste of metal, the earth's iron, hand to mouth, one gritty girl. I was fed by the soil, then a proclivity for paper captured on Christmas morning, crawling Christmas morning in heaven, grazing the wasteland of wrapping paper scraps. We eat what we need, the ground and the seed, a forest already growing inside me. So thank you. I'll pause just slightly in between, but don't feel like you have to applaud. You can wait till the end. Hopefully, you'll want to applaud. So this next poem I'm going to read is called "Portrait in Green," and it's based on a abiding memory, I guess I would say, from my early days training as a nurse, and that was my first life as an adult. So the poetry is my third life. So this is called Portrait in Green. I've kept this green scrap of construction paper, the edges frayed after a lifetime. My portrait, drawn with a child's tool, into an aging woman wearing dirty sweats in the hallway of a psychiatric ward. I turned, me, a nurse in training. She grabbed my arm, silent, pointed. She chose the evergreen crayon. Without lifting it from the page, the woman scribbled in this remarkable likeness, my impression in green, the lines vanishing between genius and insanity. Between genius and insanity, my impression in green, the lines vanishing in this remarkable likeness from the page. The woman scribbled the evergreen crayon without lifting it, silent, pointed. She chose me, a nurse in training. She grabbed my arm in the hallway of a psychiatric ward. I turned into an aging woman wearing dirty sweats, my portrait drawn with a child's tool, paper, the edges frayed after a lifetime. I've kept this green scrap of construction. So you probably noticed that's a mirror poem or a palindrome. Thank you. I love to write in form. So there are a couple of palindromes in here, but so I'm going to jump to reading a bee poem. So the title of my book is Incidental Pollen, and I'll read the title poem soon. So I'll explain what the title means then. But so there is a thread of bee poems in here, and that came about because my husband's a beekeeper and I'm an apprentice beekeeper. So I kind of just became more and more enamored of bees and also fascinated when I started learning about the different roles in the hive. And they, there were so many parallels I felt between their social structure and kind of our the way we interact in our families. And so, anyways, that's kind of it's more or less a through line in the book. So I'm going to read Wild Hive, and this is one of the first bee poems I had written. A rumble summoned my husband last spring to rescue a beehive. He found it hung like a tongue, abuzz with hunger, urgent hooligans hunkering around a honeyed crux. He clipped the bunch cluster, curried the tree branch, and dumped it into a hovel. He had 3 hives at the beginning of winter, but only the mind line survived this time. He thinks there's something in being wild that keeps things alive. So those last 2 lines, he had made that comment when, I was like, how, why is this line? It just keeps going and going. And it just stuck there in my head for so long because I had a bit of a wild past. And I think that was kind of part, how did I make it through? So that it just appeared in this poem. So I'm going to go ahead and read a poem called The Gauntlet. And that kind of is a follow up on that wildlife I'm just referring to. The Gauntlet. Once our world was a field of undetonated mines, probable explosions, when our feet swung over morning's edge, clods of mud raining, stuck in the muck. Once every mammal was predator, fanged and clawed. We wrestled wild animals, moved in slow motion. Each clash stopped, then replayed in technicolor splashes. Once we carved our arms with sharp knives, blood score, a tally of stripes to feed the deep hole in our souls. Earth people shake their heads, don't get the rattle. We had long since switched water for Beaujolais, wild turkey, or bitter hops. Once we called the magician behind the counter our savior of the corner liquor store. Our skin, once the ashtray of extinguished cigarettes. Cognac, elegant elixir, dexedrine, swimming smarts. Our bodies dwindled, our thoughts soared until they didn't. Once we were the dreaded, scraped dog shit from a shoe. That was us once, before we passed through the smoke filled gauntlet and pulled our aluminum folding chairs into a circle. Thank you. So that was a wee poem on purpose because, I've um, kind of gotten my life back together thanks to, other people also striving to do the same. So that's for them. So I'm going to read another poem based on my previous life as a nurse. And I worked as an intensive care nurse for many years and in a burn unit for many years. So it's called Wound City Diptych, and it's in 2 parts. One, At night, I move among the beds. In this city, the streets are corridors branching into alleys that run between bodies wrapped in gauze. I speak this language native to wounds, friable, purulent, granulating, necrotic. We say cirrus and mean straw colored. We agree this drainage indicates healing. Cirrosanguinous, still a fine rosé. At the foot of each parked bed, I listen to report from the last shift. Streetlights turned as low as our whispers. Ventilator breaths bellow in preset rhythms. Mostly women wearing sunny yellow scrubs gather at the station. Sing-song voices rise and fall. Jazz syncopated with chirping monitors. Code red cuts in on the PA system overhead. We mix morphine with gallows humor. We say, I love the smell of blood in the morning. The circle disperses with dressing kits, saline flushes, IV lines free of air bubbles. We piggyback narcotics in the main line, wait for heart rates to drop, and travel with our patients to the most exquisite locations, anywhere but here. We deep breathe, count down together while we unwrap. 2. In this land, I am an expert. I know Pseudomonas by its sweet but putrid smell. Note labored breathing from across the room. I've studied bleeders with a touch of silver nitrate, made a study of the subtle color shifts from air hunger. I've held hands with patients who've just received a terminal diagnosis. Great truths were made intimate in the yawning chest cavity where I held rib spreaders. Flesh and blood, yes, but also animating spirit. Bodies that turn to wax at the moment of death. In this land, I've seen the dead come back to life. A young boy, mid brain death protocol, his hypothermic corpse flooded warm. Decades after I've left the old neighborhood, I stand on every corner, waiting in the shadows. I map the blood stains remaining on my clothes. Thank you. Thanks. I'm going to read another one of the bee poems, and this one, it's called Two Queens, and I take the voice, the persona of an old queen in the hive and then a new queen. And I was so blown away when I stumbled upon this in my reading about bees. But when the queen of a hive stops producing as many eggs or the quality diminishes, the workers in the hive anoint a new queen. So the old one gets the heave ho. And that just struck me as, I don't know, I guess as an aging woman, that struck a nerve. So I wrote this poem. It's called Two Queens. I am the spent queen, this crown tarnishing. I'm aware you prepare to replace me. You see, I scent royal jelly stirring in the nearby cell, some lowly bee soaking in the bath, her body jeweled as she receives. How quickly I'm deposed. Since I can no longer produce a brood, my body shrivels to nothing, disposed. I am the virgin queen, a tremble, a rose soon to take her place, the risen star above the old crone. I'm worshipped by drones, perfumed by this new spring's nectar. I don't dwell on season's end. I take wing, hover above the hive. I feel no sting. Yes, to go back to being the new queen. I wish. Anyway, so I will go ahead and now and read the title poem, Incidental Pollen. And I discovered that incidental pollen apiologists call the pollen that collects on bee bodies when they're foraging for nectar incidental pollen because it's not purposefully gathered. And so it's, it makes it back to the home hive because it's all over their bodies. So that just struck me as the perfect metaphor for what happens and with our life experiences, like what we pick up along the way. So here's incidental pollen. I watch the bees re enter the hive in sharp diagonals, laden with nectar, legs golden with furry pockets of pollen. There's no doubt where they belong, drawn as they are instinctively to home. I left mine as soon as I could, certain I would create a version with more belonging, less belief that I was in the wrong place. But wherever I've lived, the same red bricks as my childhood. The farther away I moved, the more the wall encircled. In Amsterdam, music pulled me inside an empty church where I sat in a pew and listened to the organist practice a hymn. The tune I recognized, but the words I couldn't recall. It's too late now. Where I am absent, the sweetness accrues. I linger and feed there. It never empties. So the my book is divided into two sections, and the second section I really, which is where incidental pollen is, by the way, it's pretty late in the collection, but pulls me back really to my family of origin, and that's here in upstate New York, where I am right now. With the first big losses in my family, my father's death at 93, which was expected and as beautiful a death as one could hope for. But unfortunately, 3 weeks later, a nephew was killed in a car crash. So those are the first big losses in our family. So it had a big impact on all of us, but for sure on me. So I'm going to go ahead and read this villanelle I wrote, which kind of captures this state of magical thinking that was going on in my brain after these deaths happened so close together. When I kept seeing these foxes, and I'd really never seen a red fox before, and I kept seeing them. So here we go. 3 foxes appear in as many moons. The first, 1 month after my father died, stilled at the crest of the cemetery hill, auburn shine, plumed tail, open your eyes to the messengers as they surely arrive. This fox, like a vanishing dream, a thrill, the first, 1 month after my father died. Near the graves where my father and nephew lie, another fox darted past, gave me a chill. Auburn shine, plumed tail, open your eyes. Our family lost both within weeks, I cried. Why had I not spotted a red fox until the first, 1 month after my father died? As I rounded a curve near my home one night, the silhouette in my headlights spill, auburn shine, plumed tail, open your eyes. 3 foxes, I search for your reprise. The notes of your song play in me still. The first, 1 month after my father died. Auburn shine, plumed tail, open your eyes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to read a New York state-based poem. I actually read here in Syracuse the other night, which was really, really fun at the Downtown Writers Center. And it was just because it's my hometown, it was who would ever have guessed. But so this, I'm just going to go ahead and read it instead of talking. It's called Monarch. Who knows how we found our way home to the maple where we yelled, safe, when chased in our childhood game of ghost in the graveyard. I embraced that trunk, felt the rough reassurance of bark. Even in the dark, I could find that tree. When I was 3, how did I navigate to the car parked in the airport lot after I was separated from my family in the terminal? The search exhausted, they thought to look outside. Someone peeked through the window to the back seat. There I was, my small body shivering in my winter coat. I wish I could say how I found the way. Monarchs migrate the same route year to year, even landing on the same oil mill pines as generations before. Newly winged butterflies make the return. How do they know where to go? There is no memory, only instinct. How did I make it back to my place when I was blind drunk, kicked out of the TAM after too many? They say God looks after drunks and fools, and God knows I've been both. But I don't believe in God, and that's known too. You either have faith or you don't. I was lost once at the New York State Fair, older than 3, but still pretty young. Imagine my relief when I spotted my mother from behind, that old Madras plaid raincoat with black velvet trim that always made me roll my eyes. In the food tent, I pulled at her green sleeve. It wasn't my mother who turned around. It was quite scary. So I think I have time for 2 more. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Um, I'm going to read Magic Cicada, and I wrote this in the aftermath of the um, in Cincinnati. We have every 17 years a huge emergence of cicadas. So this was written after the last 17-year one, which was a couple years back. Magic Cicada. Broom in hand, I gather dead bodies into piles, gag on the stench, the graveyard reminiscent of beach walks at low tide. This cicada emergence almost past, the third and last shift of brood X. Magic Cicada Cassidy sings shh, like the sweeping cast. Then the spinning reel clicks when the fishbowl pulls fast. I watch a plump cicada's clumsy helicopter through the air, fragile wings like patterned glass, more ornamental than designed for flight. Another crash. Oh, the lives I've saved during these weeks of emergence. Twigs extended for supine bugs to grasp, more than a few rescued from spiderweb tangles. A gentle flick rather than an all out war. There's an eerie scream when you've disturbed one, even more human than I'd like to admit. Ever the nurse, I write the fallen, though I know they won't make it much longer. Maybe that's it, this allegiance I feel for this brood. 17 years. Will I be here when they return? The song winds down. No more outdoor tinnitus. Iridescence litters the ground. Will anyone notice when I'm gone? Already, I've been silent too long. Thank you. So I'm going to close with a poem called Smoke. And I wrote this, I was feeling dis- discouraged by the animosity in the country, which I still feel discouraged by. So, smoke. All I want is a tiny cottage on the Dingle Peninsula. I could live in peace on this windswept green. America doesn't own me anymore. I'd rather fly to family via Aer Lingus than drive up Ohio, across Pennsylvania to New York. I'm done passing the billboards on 71 North in Ohio, the Ten Commandments split between two canvases alongside the barn, the Confederate flag painted on its roof. I don't wish to be reminded by the sign on the trip back that hell is real. Hell yeah, it's real. America is aflame. With each wildfire season, the West becomes a bonfire. Cities are coals of unrest. Black sons and daughters arrested and gunned down as if prey. Give me the wild Atlantic way, Ireland's west coast. Let me puzzle the Gaelic posted above the English. Let me turn into a pebbled drive beside my pastel painted home. Let the hearth be spirited with peat. Near the coast, standing stones frame a doorway. The ancients believed you passed through into another world. My ancestors fled Ireland because they were starving. I hunger for this place to belong. Thanks.
Wow, wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
thank you so much, Ellen. That was wonderful. Let's unmute yourselves, everybody. Give her a nice round.
Hey, Ellen. That was beautiful. Amazing.
Thanks, everyone. Thank
Great
you.
job. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. All right. Well, that brings us to our wonderful friend Anne. Anne, you all ready to go? I think you have to unmute
Oh,
yourself. Yeah.
am I unmuted now?
Now you're unmuted.
Okay, yay.
Okay.
Ellen, that I have to say that was an extraordinary reading. I mean, from burn unit nurse to beekeeper, what a wealth of experiences and journeys you've been on. So thank you so much. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm starting with a November poem. It's an old one. This is called Amaryllis. Once again, I have forgotten to rescue the candied striped amaryllis from November's wild winds. Belatedly tucked beneath the basement stairs, it flowered despite benign neglect. Closed closet doors could not prevent the pale green stem from bending towards the light. So much hope contained in a simple, wondrous bulb. And this is another November themed poem. This is kind of a Veterans Day themed poem. I have a lot of family poems this evening. Close to the heart. I almost overlooked it. A tiny, tarnished heart-shaped locket with a broken clasp, tangled in a box with cheap costume jewelry set aside for the estate sale. Something whispered, "Look closer." Taking a polishing cloth, I rubbed grime off the cover. A gleaming eagle grasping an olive branch and arrows emerged, lovingly tucked inside two faded black and white photos of men wearing World War II uniforms. My dad and uncle smiled at me. The locket's owner was unmistakable. I thought of Grandma keeping her boys close to her heart, longing and praying for their safe return from New Guinea and North Africa. Those of you who know me know I've been dealing with trying to settle my parents' estate. It's going on 4 years now, and we're still not there yet. I was just informed today that the closing is tentatively December 1st. So I pulled out a poem that I wrote a year ago having to do with how slowly the wheels of bureaucracy turn. And this is called Red Tape Blues. Don't burden me with doublespeak. Just tell me what to do. These forms are poorly worded. I haven't got a clue. I've dotted I's and crossed my T's, minded P's and Q's. It seems no matter how I try, can't shake these red tape blues. Each time I send an email, my needs are not addressed. The answers that I do receive leave me feeling stressed. I'm not convinced that you exist. We haven't spoken at all. I'm handed off to someone new every time I call. Is it a job requirement to be sullen and morose? Does exposure to the public make you comatose? No one in your department ever wears a happy face. I feel sorry that you work there. It must be a miserable place. Has your right hand met your left? Do they communicate? They've no idea what's going on. It seems to be their fate. I learn the facts in dribs and drabs, but never all at once. I'm not entrusted with truth. You must think I'm a dunce. I promise I will be a pest. Engage my steel trap mind. I'll camp out in your office, be a pain in your behind. Woe to you, smug bureaucrat. I hope this makes you blanch. May your inbox always overflow like a paper avalanche. Thank you. The things we keep. It is never about the pilled sweater, the delicate doily, the cracked cup with its chipped saucer. A broken locket is worthless. If I were you, I'd just toss it. Why hold on to yellowed handwritten recipes or photo albums with their pages falling out? No one is going to buy a vast vinyl collection of opera. How easy to say, get a dumpster. Stop trying to find a home for everything. We keep mining the past. We keep trying to put memory on life support. We keep hoping grief will run its course like a bad case of the flu, only to discover it doesn't. This one's a little more lighthearted. I know that last one was a little heavy. Fair glove. Why is it so difficult to discard a single brown glove? Pulling it on, I almost hear knitting needles clicking as steadily as a metronome. Oh, the countless hours you spent watching TV while creating a lifetime supply of sweaters and woolen accessories shielding me from Arctic blasts on a northern New York college campus. No law of attraction will ever reunite this glove with its mate. I conclude a 5-decade search by carefully tucking the survivor in the storage bin. You never know when a spare glove will come in handy while scraping an icy windshield. This is a different type of writing for me. This is a piece of prose. It's based on actual events. And I was inspired by Larry McCoy. So, Larry, if you're on here this evening, I am a huge fan of your dry Midwestern wit and your observational style. So, this is dedicated to you. This is called Estate Sale Chronicles, dated June 13th, 2025. 7:30 a.m. An hour and a half before the door is opened, 5 men line up in the front walkway, gripping foldable shopping carts and oversized tote bags. I feel their silent judgment as I walk up the driveway. 8 a.m. 2 crew members wrestle with the dining room blinds, managing to mangle.
61.
I'm sorry, 8 a.m. 2 crew members wrestle with the dining room blinds, managing to mangle 2 out of 3. No apologies offered, just an assertion that I was probably getting rid of them anyway. 8:30 a.m. Pity is taken on the clamoring crowd. Doors open a half hour before the stated time on the village permit. I hope no village official is walking by. 9:00 a.m. A smiling older gentleman with a thick European accent opines that so far he's seen nothing worth stealing. Incorrectly guessing he is Polish, I try to interest him in a recording of polka hits. A lecture on the origins of the polka in the Czech Republic ensues. 9:30 a.m. Women flutter like magpies around the jewelry table, competing for shiny trinkets. A Delft pin, which was originally purchased at a church rummage sale for a quarter, sells for $55. 10 a.m. The basement is ransacked by tool-seeking hordes. The pegboard in the workshop has been picked clean. Only the hooks remain, giving an overall impression of a turkey carcass. 11 a.m. A man walking around with my uncle's typewriter enters the garage, pointing to a couple of bumper stickers stapled high on the back wall. He states his intention to remove them later. The objects of his obsession are Santa's Workshop North Pole and Ausable Chasm. I hope someone buys the extension ladder before he returns. A woman and her companion approach me in the driveway. Realizing I am the owner, She compliments me on the beautiful house and acknowledges how difficult this is for me. We converse about the metal mesh plant stands which Mom purchased with S&H green stamps. She asks if she could give me a hug, which is gratefully accepted. The plant stands will be used for her Christmas cactus collection. She promises to name a plant after me. 12 p.m. A middle-aged man in workout gear attempts to buy a large silver-plated casserole dish as a surprise for his wife. After a tense phone call, which likely includes the term drudgery, the dish is abandoned in a corner. A young couple casually strolls through the dining room, the husband cradling a poodle in his arms like an infant. Mom would have been horrified. She detested anything with fur or feathers, though she'd grown up around chickens and goats. 3:30 p.m. Saddest of all is the evisceration of the stereo cabinet. Typewriter man, forgetting his bumper sticker obsession, turns his attention to the Heathkit stereo receiver, freeing it from its cable. I remember when Dad built it from scratch, painstakingly soldering each transistor board in place. Typewriter man is followed by an aging hippie with a gray ponytail and dirty flip-flops. He gleefully unscrews the speakers with the enthusiasm of a fisherman gutting his catch of the day. Several derogatory comments are made about the varying voltage of the speakers. I counter that my dad repaired electronics for a living, and whatever he set up for his family worked just fine, thank you. 4:30 p.m. The estate sale crew folds tables and leaves. Much remains unsold. I am drained and exhausted. Decades of my life have been marched out the door by an army of bargain-hungry ants. And now for something completely different. I have a piece called Replacement Child. And I need to explain what this term is. I've been doing genealogy research for the past 5 years. And in the course of my research, I have discovered families where not only the same names repeat generationally, but often the same names for a single gender child appears over and over again. For example, there was a family that had 3 or 4 Margaretas, and they were all born within a couple of years of each other. And I thought, gee, there must be some sort of mistake with the historical record, or a complete lack of originality on the part of the parents. But then as you look at the records and the time period, you begin to realize that there's a high rate of infant mortality going on. And I didn't have a way to address this. You can customize your own tags when you're on Ancestry.com. So I came up with the term I thought I invented called replacement child, which turns out it's a real psychological syndrome. And what it involves is parents are so distraught about the death of a child that if they have another child of the same gender, they rename that child with the original child's name. So this is called Replacement Child, and this is written from the point of view of an observer talking to the replacement child. You were born to take the place of a sister or a brother. Though you run, you won't outpace the shadow of the other. Your given name is not your own, your clothing hand-me-downs, attempts to forge identity, founder, and then drown. Survivor's guilt forced you to drink from a bitter cup. You fail at being perfect. You'll never measure up. Your parents tried to hide from you their depth of grief and pain, but echoes of the sibling lost beat loudly in your brain. They said that you were nervous, often sullen as a child. They never stopped to wonder why you rarely smiled. Silence merely underscores the absence of a presence. Worthy are you of pure love by virtue of your essence. You could never take the place of sister or of brother. If only you could leave behind the shadow of another. And for my last poem, this is based on a writing prompt from a workshop I attended recently with Paula Kersey. It's 4 lines from a poem by Andrea Gibson, who was a spoken word poet. She was a poet laureate of Colorado. She passed away, I believe, just this past summer. The 4 lines I chose from her poem are, "So my family tree can be sure I have not left. You do not have to leave to arrive. I am learning this slowly, so sometimes I look in the mirror." And this comes from the poem, "I Sing the Body Electric, Especially When My Power's Out" by Andrea Gibson. My poem is called Family Tree. So my family tree can be sure I have not left. I say I come from across the ocean, out of dense evergreen forests. I come from a shape-shifting river region with a split personality, sometimes French, sometimes German. I come from wine country, canals, castle ruins, and city gardens. I arrived at Ellis Island and Idlewild Airport. I come from generations of recurring names: Anna, Elizabeth, Katerina, Margareta, Maria, Franz, Johann, Karl, Heinrich, Peter. I come from farmers, factory workers, engineers, locksmiths, and shoemakers. I come from day laborers, domestics, musicians, soldiers, and teachers. I am genetically programmed for efficiency and punctuality. My daily struggle is real. I come from the shy ones, the sly ones, the do or die ones. I come from those who fought the enemy. I come from those who were the enemy. I come from faith and fear, famine and feast, blind obedience and cynicism. I come from heartache and hope, rebel and resurrection. I am a proud daughter of immigrants. I come from every decision ever made by my ancestors. I am learning this slowly. They have never left. When I look in the mirror, they arrive.
Great job. Thank you, Anne. Thank you so much. Let's hear it for Anne.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. Great job. Great job. All right. Well, two great readings tonight. Thank you so much. All right. So we're going to do our open mic. And again, I will remind everybody one non-epic length poem. A few of you have said you don't want to be in it, and so uh, I've marked that. But why don't we get started? Mark, you're up, and Robert, you're on deck.
Thank you so much. Southern summer night. And as I am parking my feet under a tree to capture the refreshing feel of moisture and avoid the glare of nearby street lamp, several ratchet cicadas begin to tune up their ratcheting. The song of the cicadas, I exclaim into cell phone, although it is not their mouths making the sounds, but their legs and abdomens, kind of like an insect beatbox. A cackle emanates from earpiece, followed by the refrain, "That sounds like the next poem you should write." A refrain familiar to many poets. But gosh, no. Poems do not sound like cicadas. They are more like crickets, gently soliciting on an otherwise quiet southern summer night. A rendezvous built for two.
Thank you, Mark. All right. Robert, you're up, and Ronald, you're on deck.
Thank you, Tony. Sottosopra is an Italian word that means upside down. Sottosopra, Milano, Italy, April 1945. Strong man, now a pissed upon dead man, hanging by his ankles from a gas station pole. Strong man, he's not looking all that strong. Strong man once the target of mob's adulation. Now humiliation of bullseye cabbages rotten as his black shirt thugs, his macho egomania. Strongman's gesticulations, orations voracious, all of his proclaiming, declaiming, dividing, all for the sake of Roman renewal, delusional. Decades of primping, posing, vainglorious. Strongman, he isn't looking all that strong, hanging by his ankles from a gas station pole. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much. Okay, Ronald, you're up, and Valerie, you're on deck.
Oh, I'm not reading this evening, Tony.
Ronald, you're not up. Valerie, you're up, and Joyce, you're on deck.
Oops. Okay.
Sorry about that. I usually like to give everybody a little time.
Oh, thank you, ladies, for a wonderful, wonderful, moving reading by both. Equinox. Trees become distinguishable in their last moments. No longer the undefined borders of highways, lakes, and golf courses. They present themselves orange, burgundy, crimson, a telling corsage for the marriage of summer and winter. The union is marked with golden disappearance, Petals and leaves blow away. Birds migrate. Animals hibernate. The earth leans away from the sun, emptying, emptying itself of summer's sour odors. October smells like your hair. After we stood for hours by the fire we built in a circle of stones. The dancing flame lit our smiles, our singing, but just outside its halo, night dared us to stare into our souls. Some women marry man. Some marry family. Some marry God or art or money. Take vows with whatever makes you whole. Be discriminating. Be faithful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Joyce, you're up, and Bruce, you're on deck. Joyce?
Okay?
Yep, now we can hear
Yeah,
you.
thank you. An hour by the harbor for Lewis. Between our birthdays and between sips of tea, I remember the calm and peace of yesterday, of seeing docked boats in the calm waters of this harbor made famous in song by native Long Islander Billy Joel, who now lives in one of these mansions overlooking this waterway. Yesterday I was back in this place we used to go. You with your camera and me with a notebook and pen. I sat again reminiscing with our friend about how I used to sit here with you between our birthdays and in my life now without you. Sitting again with some sense of peace again, where I used to sit on a difficult journey now, a different path without you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So, Bruce, you're up, and Joe C., you're on deck.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Ellen and Ann, and everybody else who's here tonight. This piece is called Thanksgiving Heritage. Father-in-law, son of Jewish refugees from Eastern Europe, husband of daughter of Jewish refugees from Eastern Europe, imported men's suits from China, ran business out of a one-bedroom apartment, zoned commercial, overlooking Herald Square. Some Thanksgiving mornings, he'd invite us to watch the parade from the window of the apartment, zoned commercial. Father-in-law, mother-in-law, wife, me of similar World War I refugee ancestry, daughter adoptee from China, a cousin the same, wife's siblings, wife's sister-in-law refugees from Haiti, sister-in-law's in-laws refugees from Mexico. We look out the window. Down below, bands, floats, balloons, Santa Claus all pass by. When we don't feel like looking out the window, we look at the parade on the television. Nephews and young cousins don't look at the parade at all. Bring plastic jousting rods of lightsabers based on Star Wars movies and duel with each other. Toss a Nerf football around the apartment zone commercial. Adults drink coffee, eat bagels with a schmear, nibble on pumpkin spice donuts. Father-in-law's partner mostly lives on the other side of the planet. Brings crates of Asian pears. Maybe they're from Seoul. Maybe they're from 32nd Street. Everyone loves those. Not too many. Still must drive out to the island for Thanksgiving dinner. Daughter was 9 or 10 when she wrote most of that down in response to a homework assignment. How do your family celebrations honor your heritage? Teacher returns paper with red ink on the top of the page. Incomplete. Does not answer question presented. I send uncorrected homework back with my own note attached. Why do you think we came to the United States? Teacher reads my note, takes paper back from daughter. Silence. Finally, days before report cards come out, official school email. Daughter's Thanksgiving essay misplaced. For purposes of report card, assignment received but then lost without fault prior to grading. Received same grade as student's average for all graded assignments during marking period. 98. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you, buddy. All right, Josie, you're up. Linda, you're on deck.
All right, thank you, Tony. I'm a little bit prejudiced regarding one of my readers tonight, but
Yeah.
but Ellen, I want to thank you for your powerful poems and for remembering Angkor, the great hunger that afflicted the Irish people. And with that in mind, I'm going to read Carelessness. How careless of you! Make me wait. You yak and yak, and you stand in line. You do not help the checkout clerk. You do not put your grocery bags in your cart. Like a Roman at the Colosseum, you decide the fate of what stays and what goes. As you rummage through wallets and pockets, seeking spare bills. You haggle with your partner and the clerk about what paltry items will make the final cut. How careless of you not count the cost. How careless of you to make me wait. How careless of you be in poverty straits. Thank you all.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Linda, you're up, and Marvin, you're on deck.
Thank you so much, Tony, and thank you to the readers. I love coming to readings like this because it stretches me, and I need that right now. This is called Moon over Houston for Buzz Aldrin and Apollo 11. Arced in a waxing crescent, arms over a communion table, breaking bread, pouring the cup. A celestial body heretofore untouched, as man reached out into the universe. The bread released from its packet, the wine curling slowly and gracefully up the sides of a small chalice. The first food on the moon, the communion elements uniting the celebrant with those on the blue marble below. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much. All right. Marvin, you're up, and Beata? Is Beata still with us? No, hang on a second. No, so we're gonna go Julian, you're on deck.
Okay. Could you hear me, Tony?
Yes, Marvin, we can hear you.
Okay. I learned tonight from Ellen that a beekeeper has a job. It's a honey of a job. I learned that tonight. This poem was written 56 years ago, 1969. It's certainly not of epic proportion, and it relates to what the woman who just read spoke about. 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon. It's a very short one. It's called Is the Sun Next? Now that the moon has felt the heel of history, is the sun next? Do we crash into the sun, mocking its intensity, scorching its heat with our brand of earthiness? Will the sun fade from our lives as we make it dance on an electronic string, setting it in some cellar place or some warehouse above which neon bright man proclaims his manliness? Is the sun next?
Thank you, Marvin. Okay. Julian, you're up, and Rick, you're on deck.
Can I share screen?
Julian, you froze. Good.
Hi, can I share screen?
Sure. Go ahead.
Launched in 1977, Voyager 1 and 2 are currently 25 billion kilometers and 21 billion kilometers respectively from Earth, the furthest any man-made objects have ever been. The Voyagers. I hurtle towards you in a chase of the chase. Nothing has come between us for 48 years. We may be two needles in the haystack of the universe, but we are not lost. Space-time is just a figment of fictional fabric, a creative cloak conjured up by human imagination. It's a material construct of intertwined threads that none can fathom, yet humans still want to believe. The sages told us time is an illusion and space merely a projection of consciousness. They were right. Nothing is what it seems within all this nothingness. I should know. I've been out here long enough. The only exception is your existence and the knowing that you are still out there too. We are uncoupled pilgrims on odysseys well beyond the firmament, and we're never going home. I've been pursuing you for decades, but at the speed of 15 kilometers a second and you at 17 kilometers a second. The math adds up. I will never catch up. Not in this lifetime, or so it would seem. They made you bypass me in the flurry of the asteroid between Mars and Jupiter. Never to look back. I spied your form of white and gold, silver and gray flying past like a mighty metallic shadow. In your wake, I fervently followed. We are further away now than any man-made thing has ever been, a cosmic dance across an extended, endless, bedazzling ballroom, two performers pirouetting across a twinkling stage. Within our bowels we hold hope, greetings in 55 languages, music from Bach, Beethoven and Blind Willie Johnson, sounds of a Chinese zither, an Indian raga, a Peruvian panpipe, a Navajo chant, Javanese gamelan, the Balinese kecap. The mission has been long, too long. I self-soothe to the music in my mind, as if in a trance I chant, sing, spin, and vibe. I'm the conductor of my own orchestra, the featured soloist, even the lone audience. I finesse the finite within the infinite. Can you not hear me? Or are your headphones on? Beatboxing in your head, pounding at full volume, just to shut out the engulfing silence. Do you not relish the solitude like me? The never knowing of arriving, the comfort of being ever present in the absence of codependence. How lucky of us, how lucky of us to be the only souls to have crossed paths so randomly onto the superhighway of superhighways, taunting angry asteroids, cursing comets, and dodging every malevolent meteor shower. We are the new kids on the block, mapless visitors in a new rowdy city of ruddy road rages, and ever grateful for the near misses. Thankfully, we remain unscathed, unblemished, undefiled, or at least I hope you are too. Soon the pale blue dot will fade to gray, signals will be lost as our energies recede, we will wind down, and all human monitoring will cease. We will finally be on our own, just two spacecrafts passing in the void, a longing for each other boundless. We hold the high ground. In this airless sky, your scent will leave a trail. You will purposely decelerate and drift into my path. For what is 4 billion kilometers between BFFs? I shall reach you, and our twains shall meet. Humans sent us out as messengers, their emissaries, hoping to make contact, not knowing of our plan, the hidden agenda. And the mission's over, we are just dying to jettison our clunky cargo, lie back and give each other a well-deserved massage. Aliens, schmalians, just another geeky wet dream. Indeed, the truth was always out here, in space, No one can hear you scheming.
Okay. All right. Rick, you're up, and Larry, you're on deck.
Tony, another great night. Thank you so much. Ellen, thank you for doing formal poetry. I love formal poetry. When I heard palindrome and then villanelle, my ears went up. I am going to read tonight an American Guzzle. Um, and it's also an Ars Poetica, and it is about entropy and the demise of the copper penny. And it is called Brief, Impossible Geometry. When pennies vanished, the house listed south, as though a minor star had failed beneath its beams. He steadied the spinning year with one fingertip. The walls rippled once, like metal aching to recall fire. He left the coin at the curb. The curb convulsed, a thin crack loosening its subsurface jaw. Rain drew its dark ring, and the ring kept widening, a lunar aperture blooming beyond the reach of his name. By dawn, the circle beat, not like a heart, but a signal. The copper gone, a low, persistent hum rising from the hollow, warm concrete cooled except at the center, where heat unwound upward, twisting the air into a brief, impossible geometry. He pulled his hand back, yet the warmth followed, a small, unsated hunger lifting itself from matter. And Rick, if that's still the name that answers, you watched the couplets drift, the poem opening seam by seam, the way all bright things unfasten. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it very much. Okay, Larry, you're up, and Dee Dee, you're on deck.
I enjoyed the readings and thanks for the shout out, Anne. Traveling in Europe with young children was a challenge, and nothing topped the fun charts as much as a trip to Italy in 1970, when a very young son dressed in bib corduroys and a sweater had to go to the bathroom. The sweater had to be tugged off his head, the bib of the corduroys had to be slid off his shoulders, and his underwear pulled down before I could begin coaxing him to move closer to this strange white object called a urinal. He, I'm not naming him because he might sue, was reluctant to scoot his toes up to the edge of the urinal, and even if he had, it was obvious that with his little belly sticking out, he couldn't see the target. The technique I developed, noticed I didn't say perfected, was to pick him up, grabbing him around the stomach, the high stomach with my right hand, while pushing up his shirt and undershirt, and then using my left hand to bend his legs. This meant he was now shaped like the opening stroke of a parenthesis, and almost everyone can tell you a parenthesis can't pee. The same is true of a bent boy. After a futile minute or so, I would put him back down on the floor, try to nudge him again toward the edge of the urinal, hoping, despite how rough and impatient I had been, he might actually do something. Whether he did or not, there was still a problem with the bib to his corduroys. It had been on the floor, which means we usually left the bathroom with a wet bib and wet shoes. I can report his sweater was dry because it had been wadded up and pressed between my knees while I was doing all these aerobic moves with my hands. Speaking of hands, I don't remember asking him to wash his before we left. Yet another reason he could sue me if he ever decides to. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate it. Dee Dee, you're up, and JR, you're on deck.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Ellen and Anne, thank you for a very special evening. And one more thing before I read my poem. Being among all of you makes me wonder how we do not have world peace. So, like Valerie, this is a nature poem. Outside, mid-November. Some blue in the cloudy skies that yesterday shed rain and leaves. The early green of spring moves into summer, leaving blossoms in our minds. We wait to be dazzled at summer's end. The blazing glory of burnished gold, orange, deep red gives solace to summer's mourners. Such dazzle, like a new lover's touch, helps erase the sorrow. We begin to fall in love again. Oh, foolish hearts, we fall for fall. The gentler air, the freedom to open windows, don light sweaters, jackets, a good walk at a crisp pace. But look up and look down. Trees tell tales, predict futures. Soon upon us, as leaves descend, cover ground, and we remember colder air. Outside, walk if you dare. Soon, skeletons of trees will beautify, seduce, erase the hot memories of summer, the gorgeous lover, fall. And if you cling too hard to them, your new lover will blanket your memory with cold, white snow, and you will become lost in beauty again. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. And now, JR, bring it on home.
Super. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, all readers. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Oceanside Library. Cool. I'm looking forward to our next session. Wink, wink, wink. And so I'm playing my own poetry roulette. And I'm a rebel. So I'm reading from Healing Souls. And it's a haiku sequence. So, Tony, there's more than 3 haiku, but it's one poem.
Okay.
Okay. Addicted. Haiku sequence. 1 shoe, 2 shoes, 3 shoes, more fall on the floor. Stack them, smack them, make them fit. Face it, the closet's too small. Stash them, smash them, hide them from hubby. He doesn't understand. No room to box them, no space to display them. Clean out your shoes. 3 pair of black pumps, 4 pair of purple. How many pairs of white? 4 seasons of shoes, 3 seasons under the bed, then mid-season. Clogs and mules, flexible soles to fit into 3 seasons. Trendy new shoes in vibrant summer colors now need clothes to match. Midnight implosion, closet rods snapped, shoephoria fills the bedroom. He's had enough. His hissy fit lasts 5 minutes. You can't live like this. I'm calling in help. Friends, family, therapist, an intervention. No, I'll clean out. I'll cut the collection down to size. Promise. Tears, sobbing. I'm addicted. I can't. I need them all. Honey, be reasonable. You can only wear 1 pair at a time. Don't touch my shoes. Hands off the closet door. He was never seen again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So I want to thank our 2 wonderful readers, Anne and Ellen. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful evening. Thank you for everybody in the open mic. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Night. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Tony.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Good to
Tony.
see
Thank you
you.
all. Happy
Thanks,
Thanksgiving.